you've probably been studying English for years and years, and you know vocabulary, you know grammar. Maybe you can even have conversations too. But when it comes to watching native speaker series and films, you just can't understand without subtitles. This happens to a lot of people. And it's not surprising because the English you've learned in school and the English you've practiced speaking with mostly other non-native speakers is not the same as the one that is spoken in those shows. Native speakers tend to speak fast, tend to use slang, and they tend to use connected speech, making things much more complicated. And all of that makes it much more difficult to understand. So how do we solve this problem? Well, there's a very simple solution to this. There's one skill that you need to develop, and that is your pronunciation. If you don't understand native speakers, your pronunciation in English is probably not very good. And pronunciation doesn't necessarily mean when you're speaking. What I mean is your knowledge of the English pronunciation, how English sounds. You need to learn that. Knowing the words is one thing, but recognizing them in fast speech by native speakers is a completely different one. And we need to work on that. Pronunciation is by far the most difficult part of English. English grammar is relatively simple compared to other languages. Vocabulary is not that complicated if you speak another European language. There are a lot of words that are similar. But pronunciation is very tricky because in English, nothing's pronounced the way it's written. Okay, it's not exactly like that, but there are infinite exceptions. There are lots and lots of rules that are also broken all the time. Basically, you have to listen to every word a few times to really know how you should pronounce it. And even then, if you're not paying attention, if you're not closely paying attention to detail, you'll probably miss it and you'll pronounce it the wrong way next time, and you will not remember how it's pronounced, so you will not understand that word next time you listen to it in context. So we need to fix this. I'm going to give you the solution. The solution is simple. Shadowing. Shadowing is the best exercise to improve your pronunciation in any language. There are two different types of shadowing that I want you to do, and I'm going to tell you why. If you don't know what shadowing is, it's very simple. Shadowing is basically listening and repeating, but simultaneously. You listen to something, and you repeat what you're listening to in real time. There's no pause after each sentence for you to repeat. You just repeat the sentences simultaneously in real time while you're listening to them. Kind of like when you listen to a song you like and you sing while you listen. So why two types of shadowing? We're going to do two types of shadowing because we're going to do extensive shadowing and intensive shadowing for different purposes. The intensive part will be for you to learn English pronunciation really, really well by drilling. We'll have a long list of sentences in English, each one repeated 5 times, and we'll drill each sentence 5 times. You already know what you're going to say. You just say it alongside the native speaker. And you try to sound as close as possible to the native speaker audio, paying attention to small details. And the reason why we're doing it 5 times is because the second time you repeat the same sentence, you'll do it slightly better because you will notice small details with pronunciation that you didn't notice the first time. And the third time you'll do it even better, and the fourth time you'll do it even better. You get the idea. And then you repeat the same exercise with the next sentence, and the next one, and the next one. And by doing this, you learn really well how English pronunciation works. My pronunciation is not perfect. You could probably benefit from some more shadowing work, but believe me, it used to be way, way worse. I did a lot of listening and repeating work so that now I don't sound like Arnold Schwarzenegger anymore. That much, at least. So what's the second shadowing exercise? That's the extensive one. Instead of repeating the same sentences over and over again, we'll shadow long-form content. Podcasts, audiobooks are good, radio, any kind of show that's long-form. And we'll listen and repeat simultaneously 1 time. No pauses, you just listen to it and try to repeat everything they say. This will obviously be very difficult in the beginning, but the more you do it, the better you'll get at it. This will massively improve your speaking, but also it will massively improve your listening comprehension. You need to do both of these exercises. They're complementary. It's not one or the other. You need to do both, all right? By the way, when I mentioned shadowing native speaker content, I was assuming that you're already listening to native speaker content all the time. Because if you're not, you should immediately start listening to native speaker content every single day. Find time during the day in which you're doing something else, like commuting, like working out, like doing things around the house, cooking, cleaning, things like that. Put some podcast on and listen to it every single day. This is extremely important if you want to improve your listening skills, right? And that's basically it. You need to do a lot of listening. If you're not doing any, start doing it immediately. And you need to do a lot of shadowing. And this is how you can understand native speakers easily, even if you're watching Peaky Blinders, if you're watching some show in which they mumble, you can end up understanding everything well if you do these two exercises, all right? And remember that consistency is key. So do it every single day.